At that exact moment, Claire Bennett was standing in the rain outside her mother's house, holding a cardboard box filled with every photograph her family had ever taken of her. Her mother had left it on the pavement. Her brother had blocked her number. Her younger sister had posted online, "Money reveals who people really are." And inside Claire's pocket was a solicitor's letter confirming that she had inherited $4 million from the only person who had ever made her feel worthy of being loved. But to understand why Claire's family turned against her, we need to go back 21 days, to the morning her grandmother died. Claire was 34 and had spent most of her life apologizing for things that were never her fault. She apologized when she spoke too quietly, when she spoke too honestly, when she needed help, and even when she did not. Her older brother, Marcus, owned a property company and spoke as though every room belonged to him. Her younger sister, Natalie, was charming and skilled at turning every family gathering into a performance. Claire was the forgettable one. At least, that was how her mother, Evelyn, made her feel. "You have to be stronger," Evelyn often said. "You let people walk over you." What Evelyn never admitted was that she had helped create the weakness she criticized. The only person who understood Claire was her grandmother, Ruth. Every Sunday, Claire drove 40 minutes to Ruth's house near the coast. She cleaned, arranged her tablets, cooked lunch, and listened to the same stories more than once. Ruth never treated Claire like a disappointment. Whenever Claire doubted herself, Ruth said, "A gentle heart is not a weak heart. It only needs to learn where to build walls." Then Ruth died quietly in her sleep. At the funeral, Marcus arrived late and spent most of the service on his phone. Natalie cried loudly, though she had not visited Ruth in nearly a year. Claire stood beside the coffin and felt as though the only safe place in her life had disappeared. 3 days later, the family met at Ruth's house to hear the will. A solicitor named Mr. Lawson opened a dark folder. Ruth had left small amounts to charities. Her furniture would be donated. Her house would be sold. Then Mr. Lawson paused. "The remainder of Ruth Bennett's estate, valued at approximately $4 million, is left entirely to her granddaughter, Claire Bennett." Silence swallowed the room. Marcus laughed once, sharply. Natalie whispered, "That cannot be right." Evelyn's surprise became anger. "My mother would never do that." "The will was updated 11 months ago," Mr. Lawson said. "Ruth was medically assessed and fully competent." Claire did not feel fortunate. She felt exposed. Before she reached home, Evelyn called. "My darling, I hope you know I'm happy for you." Her mother had not called her darling in years. "We should meet tomorrow. This is too much for one person to handle alone." The next morning, Marcus appeared at Claire's office with flowers. He had never visited her workplace before. Over coffee, he explained that his business needed a temporary loan of $500,000. "It is not really borrowing," he said. "It is keeping the family strong." Claire told him the money had not been transferred. Marcus smiled, but his eyes hardened. "I thought you would want to help the people who were there before the money." Claire almost asked him when he had ever been there. That evening, Natalie invited her to dinner. Before the food arrived, Natalie described a dream home she wanted to buy. "We only need $300,000 for the deposit." "You want me to give you $300,000? Natalie's eyes filled with hurt so quickly that it seemed rehearsed. "I thought Gran's money was meant to improve the family." Within a week, relatives Claire barely knew began calling. Every person spoke of love. Every conversation ended with money. Claire tried to be understanding. Grief affected people differently, she told herself. Then Evelyn invited everyone to dinner. A document waited at Claire's place. Across the top were the words, "Family Asset Agreement." It proposed dividing the inheritance equally among Evelyn, Marcus, Natalie, and Claire. $1 million each. "This is fair," Evelyn said. "It is what Ruth would have wanted," Marcus added. For years, they had treated Claire like the least capable person in the family. Now her signature was the only thing standing between them and what they called justice. "I need time," Claire said. Natalie folded her arms. "Money has already changed you. I have not even received it." Claire felt the old instinct rise, to apologize, soften the room, surrender before anyone became angry. Then she remembered Ruth's voice. "A gentle heart is not a weak heart." "I am not signing this." Marcus pushed back his chair. Evelyn's face went cold. "You should be careful," she said. "There are things about your grandmother you do not understand." "What things?" Evelyn glanced at Marcus. No one answered. That silence told Claire more than words could have. That night, she searched every message Ruth had sent her. Buried among ordinary photographs was an image of a brass key. Under it, Ruth had written, "When they show you who they are, open the blue box." The next morning, Claire returned to Ruth's empty house. After hours of searching, she found the key beneath a bedroom drawer. It opened a blue metal box hidden in the wardrobe. Inside were bank records, letters, printed emails, and a voice recorder. Claire pressed play. Ruth's voice filled the room. "My dear Claire, if you are hearing this, then the money has already begun to change the way they treat you." Claire stopped breathing. "The inheritance is not the most important thing I have left you," Ruth continued. "The most important thing is proof." A floorboard creaked behind Claire. She turned. Her mother was standing in the doorway, and the expression on Evelyn's face told Claire that she had not come to mourn. Evelyn closed the bedroom door. Then she looked at the blue box. "Give that to me." Claire tightened her grip around the recorder. "What did you do?" "I protected this family." The bank records showed transfers to Evelyn and Marcus's company. Nearly $400,000 had disappeared. "You stole from Gran." "I borrowed money." Did she agree? She would have, if she had understood. Evelyn stepped closer. Marcus was going to lose his business. Natalie's marriage was under pressure. I did what a mother does. "And what did you do for Gran?" Claire pressed play again. Ruth's voice continued. "Your mother began taking money from an account she was meant to manage for my care. At first, she called it an emergency. Then, emergencies became habits." The recording described Marcus's debts, Natalie's wedding, Evelyn's loans, and the lies they told when Ruth confronted them. Ruth asked for honesty and repayment. Instead, Marcus threatened to keep the family away from her. Evelyn said reporting them would destroy her children. Natalie stopped answering her calls. "I changed my will," Ruth said, "because Claire was the only one who still came when there was nothing to gain." Evelyn reached for the recorder. Claire stepped back. "You knew she was lonely." "Do not judge me." "She died believing her own daughter saw her as a bank account." Evelyn's face hardened. "You think she chose you because you were special? She chose you because you were easy to control." The words struck Claire's oldest wound. For one terrible second, she believed them. Then Ruth's voice came from the recorder. "Claire, they may tell you that your kindness is weakness. Kindness becomes weakness only when you use it to abandon yourself." A car pulled into the drive. Marcus and Natalie entered minutes later. "You do not understand those transactions," Marcus said. Natalie began crying. "If this becomes public, it will destroy us." Claire looked at them. No one asked what the betrayal had done to Ruth. No one said they were sorry. Marcus moved towards the box. "Give me the papers and we can solve this privately." "You mean divide the money?" "We are your family." That sentence should mean more than a demand. Evelyn softened her voice. "Claire, you have always wanted us to be close. Sign the agreement. We can start again." There it was. The offer Claire had waited for her entire life. Belonging, approval, a place at the table. All it would cost was her silence, her inheritance, and the last piece of self-respect she had left. Then she understood Ruth's final gift. The $4 million was not a reward. It was a door. Claire could walk through it carrying the fear that had ruled her life, or finally leave that fear behind. She placed the documents inside the box. "I will not sign." Marcus's voice became cold. "Then do not expect to have a family after today." Claire looked at him. "I spent years trying to earn love from people who offered it only when I obeyed. That was not a family. It was a contract." Evelyn slapped her. The sound echoed through the room. Claire's cheek burned, but something inside her became still. She picked up the box. "I am taking this to Mr. Lawson." Evelyn followed her downstairs. "If you leave, you are no longer my daughter." Claire paused at the door. The old Claire would have begged. She would have handed over everything to avoid being abandoned. Instead, she turned. "I was your daughter before the money. You decided that was not enough." Then she left. The investigation lasted several months. Marcus was ordered to repay money taken through his company. Evelyn agreed to return what she had taken. Natalie insisted she knew very little, but Claire stopped trying to separate truth from performance. The inheritance was transferred, but freedom did not arrive with the money. At first, Claire could not sleep. She replayed every argument and wondered whether standing up for herself had made her cruel. Some mornings she almost called Evelyn, because familiar pain can feel safer than an unfamiliar future. Claire began therapy. She learned that constantly apologizing was not humility, it was survival. She learned that boundaries were not punishments, and rejection by people who benefited from her silence did not make her unlovable. 6 months later, Claire bought the community bookshop where she had worked for 12 years. She kept the shelves Ruth loved and created a room where support groups could meet for free. She also started a foundation supporting elderly people facing financial exploitation. She named it Ruth's Room. 1 year after the funeral, Evelyn sent a message. It contained no apology, only 5 words. "Are you happy without us?" Claire stared at the screen, then deleted it. She was not happy because they were gone. She was happy because she was finally present in her own life. A week later, Evelyn told Claire to collect a box of childhood belongings. When Claire arrived, the box was outside in the rain. Inside were school photographs, birthday cards, drawings, and a picture of Claire sitting beside Ruth on a beach. Marcus had blocked her. Natalie had posted her accusation online. For a moment, Claire stood in the rain and felt the weight of what she had lost. Then she turned over the photograph. On the back, in faded ink, were words she had never noticed. "May you one day see yourself with the love I see you." Claire began to cry, not because she wanted to go back, because for the first time, she knew she would not. She carried the box to her car and drove to the coast. At sunset, she sat on the same beach where the photograph had been taken. She thought about the woman she had been, the woman who believed love had to be earned through sacrifice. That woman had inherited $4 million, but the woman sitting on the beach had inherited something greater, a voice of her own, a life that did not require permission, and the courage to stop calling abandonment a failure when it was actually an escape. Her family believed the money would change her. They were right. It did not make her selfish. It made her stop disappearing. And sometimes, the greatest victory is not proving that the people who hurt you were wrong. It is becoming so whole that their opinion no longer decides who you are.